Welcome back to our channel, World Coins History. As you knew that old is gold, but these rare Jefferson nickels that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Top 1. Today, we have something truly special to discuss, a coin that might be sitting in your collection or even in your pocket right now, yet its value could be far beyond what you imagine. We're diving into the fascinating world of the United States of America 5-cent 1972 coin. This particular coin, known to many simply as the 1972 nickel, holds a unique story that blends rich American history, artistic design, and an unexpected potential for collectors. Before we explore its intricacies, let's take a trip back in time to understand the context surrounding the 1972 coin's creation. The early 1970s in the United States were a time of significant political, economic, and cultural change. The country was emerging from the tumult of the 1960s, marked by civil rights movements, protests, and societal shifts. The early 1970s brought some stability, but also continued tensions surrounding the Vietnam War, rising inflation, and changing attitudes toward politics and governance. Amidst these changes, the U.S. Mint was busy at work crafting coins that would carry the nation's symbols of pride and identity into the modern world. The 5-cent piece, or nickel, is one of the oldest and most recognized denominations in U.S. coinage. It has undergone various changes in design over the years, with several iconic figures and symbols finding their way onto the coin's face. The 1972 nickel continued this tradition but also reflected the evolving tastes and values of the time. The obverse side of the 1972 nickel showcases a well-known image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson's likeness has appeared on the nickel for decades, starting with the 1938 design. This portrait of Jefferson was created by artist Felix Schlag, and it has become one of the most enduring images in American coinage. Jefferson himself, a founding father and author of the Declaration of Independence, remains an important figure in the American consciousness. His image on the nickel is a constant reminder of the country's founding ideals. The reverse side of the 1972 nickel features a depiction of Jefferson's Virginia home, Monticello. Monticello is not just a beautiful piece of architecture, it represents Jefferson's vision for the nation and his lifelong commitment to public service. The Monticello design, also created by Felix Schlag, was first introduced in 1938 and has been a mainstay of the nickel's reverse ever since. The image of Monticello on the reverse side of the 1972 coin is a testament to Jefferson's legacy, as well as a nod to America's agrarian roots and its respect for history. While the design itself is rich in historical meaning, it is important to note that the 1972 nickel carries with it some intriguing features that make it highly desirable to collectors. The 1972 coin was part of a larger effort by the U.S. Mint to continue producing high-quality, mass-produced coins that would circulate easily. As with any coin of this era, the 1972 nickel was produced in large numbers, and many were used in everyday transactions. However, there are several factors that make this coin special. First, we need to understand that over time, coins that were once widely circulated can become rare and valuable if they survive in pristine condition. The 1972 nickel was no exception. Most of the coins that were minted in that year have been subjected to years of wear and tear from circulation. They've been through wallets, pocket change, and machines, which means they have lost much of their original luster. Finding a 1972 nickel in uncirculated condition is extremely rare. It is these coins, in their pristine, untouched form, that are highly sought after by collectors, but what makes the 1972 nickel particularly intriguing to collectors is its subtle variations in minting. The U.S. Mint, like any minting operation, occasionally produces coins with slight imperfections or unique characteristics. These imperfections can range from small design errors to misprints or other anomalies that make a coin stand out from the rest. In the case of the 1972 nickel, some of the coins produced that year have been found to have interesting and rare features that can drastically increase their value. One such variant is the 1972 nickel with a double die error. This error occurred when the coin's design was struck more than once during the minting process, leading to a doubling effect on certain parts of the design, such as Jefferson's name or the date. Coins with this type of error are highly prized by collectors because they are a rare and unique piece of U.S. coin history. The double die error is one of the key factors that make some 1972 nickels so valuable. In addition to the double die error, other variants of the 1972 nickel include coins that were minted with slight differences in metal composition, or those that were struck on coins with imperfections in the blank planchet, the metal disc used before the coin is stamped. These errors and variants add an element of mystery and excitement for collectors, as they allow people to hunt for rare, one-of-a-kind pieces that have a story to tell. With all these factors in mind, let's talk about the value of the 1972 nickel, particularly one in uncirculated condition or with a rare error. While the face value of the 1972 nickel is, of course, 5 cents, the collector's market has a different story to tell. Depending on the condition of the coin, its rarity, and whether it has any unique minting errors, the value can increase significantly. So, how much can a 1972 nickel be worth? Well, it all depends on the condition, rarity, and any special features the coin may have. However, for a 1972 nickel in perfect, uncirculated condition or with a rare error like the double die, you could be looking at an impressive value that far exceeds the coin's original face value. A well-preserved 1972 nickel with a double die error has been known to fetch prices in the range of $59,000, yes, that's right. A single 1972 nickel, with the right characteristics, can be worth $59,000. It's amazing to think that a coin worth just 5 cents when it was minted could now be worth such a staggering amount. This is a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting, where small details and rare finds can lead to extraordinary discoveries and incredible rewards. So, if you're a coin collector, a history lover, or even just someone who has a few old nickels lying around, it might be worth your time to check the condition of your 1972 coins. You never know, your next coin might just be worth a small fortune. Top 2, we're diving into a coin that you may not expect to be so valuable, but trust me, it's a real gem in the world of numismatics. We're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1990, commonly known as the nickel. While many of you might have handled these coins in your daily life, there's more to this particular year's minting than meets the eye. By the end of this video, you'll be amazed at just how much a 1990 nickel can be worth. Let's just say it's far more than the 5 cents you might have thought. Let's take a step back in time and look at the historical context surrounding this coin. The United States in 1990 was experiencing an era of stability and change. The Cold War had just about come to an end, and the country was entering a new chapter in both its political and economic history. In the early 1990s, the U.S. economy was growing steadily, though there were challenges such as the Persian Gulf War and a slight recession. These years were marked by a sense of optimism, but also by cautious awareness of global dynamics. The U.S. Mint, busy at work producing the coins that would circulate in everyday transactions, was also taking steps to preserve the integrity and symbolic value of the nation's currency. The 1990 nickel was part of that effort. But while many may have dismissed it as just another year in the ongoing production of the 5-cent coin, there's more to it than you might think. The nickel has always been one of the most recognizable coins in U.S. currency, dating back to the late 19th century. Throughout its history, it's undergone various design changes, but since 1938, the design has remained relatively consistent with the image of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and the depiction of his estate, Monticello, on the reverse. The 1990 nickel follows this same classic design, but there's an intriguing aspect to its production that makes it stand out in the eyes of collectors. On the obverse side of the 1990 nickel, you'll find a well-known image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson, a founding father, was chosen for the nickel because of his profound influence on the nation's formation and its ideals. The portrait on this coin was designed by artist Felix Schlag, and it's remained largely unchanged for decades. Jefferson's image symbolizes the spirit of liberty, democracy, and the pursuit of the American dream. On the reverse side of the 1990 nickel, we see Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. This architectural masterpiece is a testament to Jefferson's legacy, showcasing his love for both beauty and functionality. The image of Monticello has adorned the Nickels reverse since 1938, and it's become a symbol of America's historical roots, reflecting both Jefferson's personal legacy and the nation's foundation. At first glance, the 1990 nickel might seem like just another in a long line of coins that make up America's currency. After all, it's a nickel, a denomination that most people associate with small change. But there's more beneath the surface, particularly when we look at how the coin was minted and circulated. The U.S. Mint produced millions of 1990 nickels for daily use, and most of these coins have been through countless transactions, passed from hand to hand, spent on purchases, and exchanged between individuals. As with any coin in circulation, many of them show the wear and tear of time. The 1990 nickel is no different. However, for collectors, the condition of a coin plays a crucial role in its value. A well-preserved coin, one that shows little to no signs of wear, can be a rare find, and such coins are highly sought after by collectors around the world. This is where the 1990 nickel gains its appeal. While the coin may not have been produced in any notably limited quantities, certain specimens have become quite rare due to their exceptional preservation. Coins that have been well kept, stored properly, and have not been heavily circulated are considered to be in mint state, and these are the coins that command a higher value in the collector's market. But it's not just the condition of the coin that drives its value. For many collectors, specific varieties or errors can make a coin much more desirable. In the case of the 1990 nickel, there are a few unique variations that can significantly increase its worth. For example, there have been instances where the minting process created coins with slight design flaws or errors. These errors might be minor, such as an incorrect strike or a misalignment of the design elements, but they're enough to make the coin stand out from the others and drive its value higher. One of the most sought-after features in the 1990 nickel is the occurrence of what is known as a proof coin. Proof coins are specially minted coins that are struck with higher precision and quality than regular coins. These coins are intended for collectors rather than for circulation. They typically feature sharp, clean details, and are often produced in limited quantities. If you happen to come across a 1990 nickel proof coin, you might be looking at a valuable addition to your collection. Another reason the 1990 nickel stands out in the world of coin collecting is due to the historical significance of the year itself. The early 1990s represented a pivotal time in the United States history, and coins from this era hold a certain nostalgic value for many collectors. They serve as a snapshot of a time of transition, when the U.S. was emerging from the Cold War and moving into the modern era. Collectors often seek out coins from these years, not only for their physical characteristics but for the historical context they represent. Now, let's talk about the most exciting part: how much could a 1990 nickel be worth today? While the face value of the coin remains a mere 5 cents, the collector's market tells a very different story. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition, particularly those with rare errors or unique features, can fetch prices much higher than you might expect. Some 1990 nickels have sold for impressive sums at auctions and coin shows, with one particularly rare specimen fetching the incredible sum of $45,000. Yes, you heard that right, $45,000 for a single 1990 nickel. It's truly astonishing to think that a coin worth only 5 cents could become a highly prized collector's item with such a significant value. This just goes to show how much the world of coin collecting can surprise us, with even the most humble coins hiding a treasure trove of value. So, if you have any 1990 nickels sitting in your collection or tucked away in your change jar, it might be worth taking a closer look. You never know, you could be sitting on a rare and valuable find. Top 3, we're going to explore a piece of U.S. history that you might not think twice about, but could be worth far more than its face value. Yes, we're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1991, often referred to as the nickel. It's a coin that many of us have in our pockets, but what if I told you that one of these coins could be worth a fortune today? Stick around as we dive into the history, design, and unique features of the 1991 nickel and discover just how valuable it can be. Let's start by setting the stage with the historical context of the 1991 nickel. The early 1990s in the United States was a time of transition and growth. The Cold War had just ended, and the country was adjusting to a new political and global landscape. There were challenges, such as the Persian Gulf War and rising economic uncertainty, but there was also a sense of optimism as the country entered the final decade of the 20th century. The U.S. Mint, busy producing coins for circulation, had to adjust its production methods to meet the needs of the growing economy. In 1991, the country was recovering from the economic recession of the early 1990s, and the Mint's job was to ensure that there were enough coins in circulation to keep the economy moving smoothly. However, what many people didn't realize at the time was that the coins produced in 1991, especially the 5-cent piece, would go on to become highly desirable items in the world of numismatics. Now, let's take a closer look at the design of the 1991 nickel. The obverse side of the coin features a familiar and iconic image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson's likeness, created by artist Felix Schlag, has appeared on the nickel since 1938 and has become one of the most recognizable images in American coinage. Jefferson, a key figure in the founding of the nation and the author of the Declaration of Independence, represents the ideals of liberty and freedom that the United States holds dear. On the reverse side of the 1991 nickel, we see an image of Jefferson's Virginia home, Monticello. Monticello, a neoclassical architectural masterpiece designed by Jefferson himself, symbolizes not only Jefferson's vision for the country but also the nation's respect for history and its agricultural roots. The image of Monticello has been part of the nickel's design since 1938, and it continues to remind us of the nation's early years, as well as Jefferson's lasting legacy. While the design of the 1991 nickel remains consistent with earlier versions of the coin, there are some subtle differences and important details that make this year's issue unique. Like all coins produced by the U.S. Mint, the 1991 nickel was struck with precision and care. However, as with any large-scale coin production, there were occasional minting errors that made certain coins from this year stand out from the rest. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1991 nickel is its production during a time when the Mint was still experimenting with new methods to improve the quality and efficiency of coin production. The early 1990s saw the Mint investing in more advanced machinery and technologies to meet the demands of a rapidly changing economy. These changes in the minting process resulted in a variety of coins with subtle differences, some of which are more valuable to collectors today. The 1991 nickel, like many other coins from the period, was produced in large quantities. These coins were used in everyday transactions and quickly circulated across the country. Most of these coins have been through countless hands, worn down by years of use in wallets, pocket change, and vending machines. As a result, finding a 1991 nickel in mint condition is becoming increasingly rare. The wear and tear from circulation is often evident in the details of the coin, particularly the image of Jefferson and the Monticello building on the reverse side. For collectors, the condition of the coin plays a significant role in determining its value. Coins that have been carefully preserved, stored properly, and kept out of circulation are considered to be in mint state or uncirculated condition. These coins are highly sought after by numismatists, as they offer a pristine example of the coin's original design, free from the damage caused by years of circulation. But the 1991 nickel isn't just valuable because of its condition. There are certain features and variations that make it even more appealing to collectors. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1991 nickel is the presence of minting errors or variations. These errors occur when the coins are struck in a way that deviates from the intended design. Sometimes, these errors are small, like a misaligned strike or a slight doubling of the design elements, while other times, they can be more dramatic, such as an incorrect metal composition or a blank planchet error. These errors make the 1991 nickel even more exciting for collectors, as they provide a unique and rare version of the coin that can increase its value significantly. In particular, coins with minting errors are highly prized in the numismatic community, as they represent a rare and imperfect production process that adds a layer of mystery and intrigue to the coin's history. Another feature that makes the 1991 nickel especially valuable is its place in the broader context of U.S. coinage history. The 1990s were a time of economic change, political shifts, and a growing interest in preserving historical artifacts. Coins from this era, including the 1991 nickel, are often seen as a representation of the nation's evolution during a pivotal period. For many collectors, owning a coin from this time period is a way to connect with the past and celebrate the country's rich history. Now, the moment you've been waiting for: how much can a 1991 nickel be worth today? While most 1991 nickels are worth only their face value of 5 cents, those in uncirculated condition or with rare minting errors can fetch much higher prices. A coin that is in perfect condition, with sharp details and no signs of wear, can easily be worth more than $100 to $200, depending on its rarity and demand. However, the real prize lies in the rare 1991 nickels that feature minting errors, unique characteristics, or exceptional quality. Some of these error coins have sold for impressive sums, with one particularly rare 1991 nickel being valued at $42,000. Yes, you read that correctly. A single 1991 nickel could be worth $42,000 if it has the right combination of rarity, condition, and special features. It's truly incredible to think that a coin worth only 5 cents when it was minted could become a valuable collector's item worth tens of thousands of dollars today. So, if you have any 1991 nickels tucked away in your collection or hiding in your spare change jar, it might be worth taking a second look. You could be holding onto a rare and valuable coin without even knowing it. As always, the key to finding valuable coins lies in knowing what to look for and being aware of the unique features that make a coin special. Top 4, we're diving into a coin that might just surprise you. We're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1971. It's a piece of American history that many people don't pay much attention to, but as we'll uncover, this coin can be worth far more than the 5 cents it was originally intended for. Stick with me as we explore the fascinating history, unique design, and why this particular 5-cent coin might just be sitting in your collection, waiting to make you a small fortune. Let's first take a look at the historical backdrop of the 1971 nickel. The 1970s were a time of transition in the United States. The country was still reeling from the cultural shifts of the 1960s, and the early 1970s saw new challenges, including economic uncertainty, the Vietnam War winding down, and the U.S. grappling with inflation. Despite these struggles, the United States remained a global leader, and its economy was shifting toward a more consumer-driven model. This was also a time of significant change in U.S. currency. The 1971 5-cent coin, or nickel, was part of the ongoing evolution of American coinage. This coin came at the tail end of a period when coin designs were starting to be modernized to reflect more contemporary ideas, while still honoring the history of the country. In 1971, the U.S. Mint was busy producing millions of coins to ensure there was enough currency for the everyday needs of an expanding population. Although this nickel might seem like just another regular coin in circulation, there are subtle details that would later make it a highly sought-after piece in the world of coin collecting. The design of the 1971 nickel is a classic one. On the obverse side, you'll find an image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, whose portrait has adorned the nickel since 1938. Jefferson was a key figure in shaping the American nation, most famously as the author of the Declaration of Independence. The likeness we see on the 1971 nickel was created by the artist Felix Schlag and has remained virtually unchanged over the years. Jefferson's image on the nickel is more than just a representation of one of the founding fathers. It also serves as a symbol of the ideals of liberty, democracy, and freedom that the United States was founded upon. His presence on the coin reflects these values, making the 1971 nickel not just a piece of currency, but a representation of the American spirit. On the reverse side of the 1971 nickel, you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, which was designed by him and is considered a symbol of the early American Republic. Monticello has been featured on the reverse of the nickel since 1938, serving as a reminder of Jefferson's legacy. The neoclassical building, with its grand columns and beautiful symmetry, represents both Jefferson's personal vision and the nation's architectural style at the time. Monticello is a fitting image for the reverse side of a coin that honors such an important historical figure, representing the roots of American history. Now, while the design of the 1971 nickel may be familiar to many, it's the minting process and certain features of the coin that make it more significant than it may first appear. The 1971 nickel was minted during a time when coin production in the United States was ramping up to meet growing demand. As a result, millions of these coins were produced and entered into circulation. Most of these coins were spent on everyday goods, passed from hand to hand in countless transactions. The mass circulation of the 1971 nickel meant that, like most coins from that era, many of them were subjected to wear and tear. Over the years, the images of Jefferson and Monticello on the coin's surfaces were often rubbed away due to constant handling. This is one reason why collectors are particularly interested in finding 1971 nickels in pristine condition. Coins that have been kept in great shape, free from scratches, dents, and discoloration, are a rare find and therefore more valuable, but the true allure of the 1971 nickel in the world of numismatics doesn't just come from its design or its condition. It also stems from the occasional errors and minting variations that make certain coins even more desirable. As with any large-scale coin production, there were always slight variations that could occur during the minting process. Some of these variations were simple misstrikes or minor issues with the quality of the coin, but others were more significant. Error coins are highly prized in the coin collecting world because they represent a unique and often accidental version of the coin that sets it apart from the standard issue. In the case of the 1971 nickel, some of the most valuable examples are those that exhibit minting errors, such as double die errors, off-center strikes, or even instances where the coin was struck on the wrong planchet. These types of errors make the coin stand out and add an element of rarity that collectors love. If you happen to have one of these error coins in your collection, you could be holding onto a piece of American history that could fetch a hefty price. The appeal of the 1971 nickel is also tied to the historical context in which it was produced. The early 1970s marked a time when the U.S. was beginning to transition into a new era. The economic landscape was changing, and the country was beginning to move away from the post-World War II economic boom. For many collectors, owning a 1971 nickel is more than just about the coin itself, it's about having a tangible connection to that specific moment in American history. Coins from this time period serve as reminders of the challenges and triumphs that shaped the United States, and for collectors, owning one of these coins is a way to celebrate the nation's legacy. Now, let's get to the exciting part. How much could a 1971 nickel be worth today? While most of the 1971 nickels you come across are worth just 5 cents, there are some rare exceptions that can command much higher prices. The value of a 1971 nickel depends largely on its condition, rarity, and any unique features, such as minting errors or special characteristics. A well-preserved coin in near-perfect condition can easily fetch a premium, but the truly rare pieces, those with significant minting errors or exceptional features, can be worth far more. In fact, a particularly rare 1971 nickel, one that exhibits a unique minting error or is in exceptional uncirculated condition, has been known to sell for an astounding $60,000. Yes, you heard that right, $60,000 for a single 1971 nickel. This just goes to show how valuable some coins can become over time, especially when they possess qualities that make them stand out in the world of coin collecting. So, if you have any 1971 nickels sitting in your collection, it might be worth taking a closer look. You could have a rare, valuable coin on your hands without even knowing it. As with all coin collecting, it's important to do your research, keep your coins in great condition, and always be on the lookout for any minting errors or variations that could make your coin a prized possession. Top 5 and last rare coin. We're going to take a deep dive into a specific U.S. coin that might look ordinary to the untrained eye but has a fascinating story and an impressive value in the world of collectors. We're talking about the United States 5-cent coin from 1988. Most of us probably never gave this coin a second thought while it was in our pockets, but what if I told you that it could be worth a small fortune today? Stick around as we uncover the history, design, and rarity of this particular nickel, and reveal its extraordinary value in the current coin market. Let's set the stage by exploring the historical context of the 1988 nickel. The 1980s in the United States were a time of political, economic, and cultural change. Ronald Reagan was in his second term as president, and the country was experiencing a period of growth and transformation. The economy was on the upswing, with inflation rates dropping and the stock market soaring. It was also a time when American culture was evolving rapidly, with significant advancements in technology, entertainment, and global politics. During this time, the U.S. Mint continued its work to produce the coins necessary to meet the demand of the growing population. The 1988 nickel, part of the ongoing series of U.S. 5-cent pieces, was minted to support this need. Although the 1988 nickel was just one of many coins struck during the year, it carried significance in its design and the era in which it was made. At a glance, this coin may appear to be just another routine piece of currency, but in the world of numismatics, certain factors make it stand out as an item worth attention. Let's dive into the design of the 1988 nickel. On the obverse side, you'll find the familiar image of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States. Jefferson, one of the founding fathers of the country, has been featured on the nickel since 1938, and his image is one of the most enduring symbols in American coinage. The likeness of Jefferson on the 1988 nickel is based on a portrait created by artist Felix Schlag. It's a representation of the man who not only shaped the nation as president but also authored the Declaration of Independence and was a visionary for the young United States. The reverse side of the 1988 nickel features a representation of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home. Monticello, with its distinctive neoclassical architecture, has been a central part of the nickel's design since 1938. The building symbolizes Jefferson's influence on both American architecture and the nation's philosophical foundations. Monticello is not just a home, it's a symbol of the ideals of freedom, democracy, and innovation that Jefferson championed during his lifetime. The combination of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello on the reverse gives the 1988 nickel a strong historical connection, reminding us of the founding principles of the United States. But while the design may be timeless, what makes the 1988 nickel particularly interesting is the way it fits into the broader context of coin production during the late 20th century. In the late 1980s, the U.S. Mint was still using traditional methods for coin production, though advances in technology were beginning to influence the minting process. The 1988 nickel was struck using the same basic techniques that had been used for decades, but changes in the production environment were starting to affect the coins that came out of the mint. For example, the quality control systems at the U.S. Mint had improved during this time, leading to a greater focus on producing coins with better designs and sharper details. However, despite these improvements, the reality is that most of the 1988 nickels that were minted went into circulation. These coins, like most others, were used in countless transactions and passed from hand to hand over the years. Many of these coins were subjected to wear and tear, which is typical for circulating currency. Over time, the details of the design on the coins were worn away, making it harder to find an example in pristine condition. This is why coins from this period, especially those in uncirculated or near mint condition, have become highly desirable among collectors. Speaking of condition, the state of preservation is a key factor when it comes to determining the value of a coin. Coins that have been kept in excellent condition, free from scratches, discoloration, or other forms of damage, are considered more valuable than coins that have been heavily circulated. The 1988 nickel is no exception. While many of these coins may appear to be just 5 cents in everyday use, those that have been carefully stored and preserved are worth much more in the coin market. If you have a 1988 nickel that looks like it was just minted yesterday, you could be holding onto a rare treasure. But it's not just the condition that can make a 1988 nickel valuable. Some of the coins produced during this time exhibit unique characteristics, such as minting errors, that can increase their value. For example, errors like a misaligned strike or a doubling of the design elements on the coin can make it stand out. These types of minting errors occur when the coin is struck incorrectly during the production process, creating variations that make the coin one of a kind. Collectors are always on the lookout for error coins, as they are rare and often fetch a premium in the market. In the case of the 1988 nickel, certain minting errors or variations, such as those with slight misalignments or unusual characteristics, can significantly boost the coin's value. Error coins, in general, are prized by collectors because they are unique and often represent a piece of the history of the U.S. mint's production process. If you have a 1988 nickel with one of these rare errors, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1988 nickel. As I mentioned earlier, most 1988 nickels are worth just their face value of 5 cents. However, there are exceptions. Coins that are in uncirculated or mint condition can be worth much more than their original value. Some of the rarest examples, particularly those with minting errors or unique characteristics, have sold for impressive amounts at auctions. In fact, some of the most coveted 1988 nickels can be worth up to $49,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $49,000 for a single 1988 nickel. This astonishing value is a testament to the rarity and desirability of certain coins in the world of numismatics. So, if you happen to have any 1988 nickels lying around in your collection, it might be worth taking a closer look. It's always possible that you have one of those rare, valuable coins that collectors are eager to get their hands on. As we wrap up this deep dive into the 1988 nickel, I encourage you to keep your eyes peeled for coins that may seem ordinary at first glance. With the right combination of condition, rarity, and unique features, any coin, even a simple 5-cent piece, can turn into a valuable collector's item. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the world of coins. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about the fascinating world of numismatics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Until next time, happy collecting.